Do you like it?
It's just a bluey gray mess.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different. So I have an insane hobby of making cakes, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I made this tire cake, which is for my best friend's son's birthday. He's turning 1 and I decided to make him a little tire cake. So I filmed the process. I am not a professional. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I thought I'd share with you what I do exactly when I do make a cake. I just wing it for the most part. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's get into how I made this tire cake. Woo! So today we're going to be hacking a cake mix. I saw this on Pinterest and I thought I need to try this to see if it actually works or not. So what you're going to need is a cake mix. I am using the Crocker white. Just because I'm going to be dyeing it gray, and I am actually going to be using the Wilton black food coloring for that. So for this, you need to follow the directions on the back, but there's some alterations that you have to make. So specifically for this one, it asks for 1 1/4 cup of milk or water. So I am going to be using milk, and I'm actually going to be using the Silk Almond Coconut Blend. This is the unsweetened, just because this is what I drink, so that's what I'm going to be using. So I have measured out 1 1/4 cup. I'm using my 1/2 cup just because my 1/4 cup handle broke there, so wow. It also asks for 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. I'm not going to be using oil, and the trick with this is to double the amount of fat. So what I have done is I've melted and then cooled down some butter, and we're going to be measuring 2/3 of this butter. So I have my 1/3 cup measuring here. Next thing, 3 egg whites or whole eggs. For this, it says egg whites because it is a white cake, and to get a white cake white, you use egg whites. But I don't really care about that because it's going to be gray, so eggs, and we're going to be adding 4 eggs. So back here in my little carton, I have 4 eggs left, and we are going to be using those guys. This is my grandma's old stand mixer, and on the back here, it has a whole bunch of notes that she's written out, and I've just like left them there in case you're wondering what that is. My grandma was a big note person and like dating things, so it's just, I love it. So we're going to start by adding the cake mix. Boom. Now another trick I heard is to add a thing of Jello. I put the container in my sink and it got wet, so ew. So one of the hacks said add a pack of pudding. I'm not adding a whole pack. I'm making 3 layers to this cake, so I've added 1/3 to each one just because I don't want to overwhelm it. So I'm going to add that. And this is just supposed to bring out the flavor and make it a little bit more decadent and rich. Give that a little toss up. Now I'm going to add the milk. So this is 1 cup and then 1/4. And now time for the butter. I'm going to be adding 2/3 of a cup, and this butter has cooled down. I'm not adding hot butter to this. So there is 1/3, and please let this be another 1/3. Ah, close enough. Now I'm going to give this a little whirl in here before I add the eggs. And now I'm just going to add the eggs one by one. Ooh. All right, that looks pretty good. Looks super smooth. Love it. Now it's time that I'm going to add the food coloring into here. So I have already baked my previous 2 layers. Here I have the first layer, which is a light gray, and then a medium gray tone, I suppose. I'm just gonna make this one a little bit darker so it's a nice ombre. And this black is super pigmented, so you don't need a ton. For the first one, I kind of dipped it in. The second one, I dipped it in and did a little swirl. So this one, I think I'll dip it in and do like a big swirl. And that should be enough coloring, I hope. And then what I've been doing is I've just been like swatching it on my hand. So I'm gonna make it a little bit darker because it's quite similar. A bit more of that, maybe a little bit more actually. Let's test it. That looks pretty good. I'll compare all 3. Yeah, that looks like it will be good. Awesome. So I have my cake pan here. I'm not gonna spray it or anything. I've just cut a piece of 12-inch parchment paper. So I'm gonna place that in. And I'd like to face it curved down so it stays. Then I also cut a piece, which I thought was the correct diameter, but I guess my high school math isn't as sharp as I thought it would be, so I'm just gonna place a little tiny piece where I have a gap right here. And that is how I'm lining my pans for this cake. I have my oven set at 325 and this is going to bake for 32 minutes. My cake is done and it has been in the chiller for, I don't know, about 10-15 minutes. It's still a little bit warm, but I'm gonna remove it from the pan. So this is my technique because I'm ratchet and I don't have anything at home to really flip it on. So take a piece of wax paper and my cutting board, try and center it. Then going to flip it onto there. Comes out beautifully, look at that, absolutely gorgeous. Then what I'm gonna do is put a piece of the paper underneath and then flip it one more time. Like so, and now I'm just gonna chill this for a little bit more. And right now I actually may take this bit off. The lighting's kind of bad, but I have two of my cakes in there and I've already leveled off this guy, so we just gotta wait for them to cool. Alrighty, I have leveled off my layer 1 and my layer 2, and these pretty much are completely chilled, to be honest. I need to layer off this guy now, which it's not completely chilled underneath, but it'll go back in the freezer once I level it off. Now I'm just gonna level it. I don't have like a proper knife or anything. I just kind of like sear it and just kind of go for it. I don't know, I'm not a professional baker. This is just what I do when I'm at home. Ooh, oh, I love that. So that's my ombre. Now, I'm not gonna cut like a super ton of it from right around the sides. You'll see why, because this is gonna be the top layer, so does that make sense? And then it'll cut in, so then this is kind of like round how a tire is. Anyway, it makes sense in my mind, just stay tuned. All right, so I whipped up a little batch of buttercream. I've let it chill somewhat. I'm gonna color it now and then let it chill a little bit more. So my idea for this was, I'm gonna do like a turquoise. So I have here just some like Clubhouse, you know, the stuff that you always have in your house. I'm gonna make teal. Does it have like a agenda here? So to make teal is 1 green and 3 blue. Sure. I'm just gonna add color until I like it, to be honest with you. I'm gonna turn this on, so here goes the color. So that's what we have so far. It's more like a seafoam green color. It's not like completely all mixed, but I am just gonna add more. I probably add like 10 drops of each so far. So I'm gonna add a bit more blue than green. See where this goes. That's kind of closer to the color that I wanted. It's still like sea foamy though, I've added like so many drops. Maybe that's fine. Maybe it's just my eyes. Here are my 3 cakes. So we have the first, which is the lightest, second, which is like a medium tone, and then my darkest gray. I've leveled them off somewhat, and I left a little bit of a lip on this guy because this is the top of the tire, and the top of the tire has a lip anyway, so I just thought I'd leave it. I want to talk about the texture of the cake because we did do that cake hack, and you guys, these cakes look gorgeous. Like the texture of them is like next level. They're so spongy and so dense and so soft. Oh, this is gonna be good. I think I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm assuming it's gonna be amazing. I'll go through what I'm gonna be using to icing this cake. I have this right here, which I got from Bulk Barn. This is a 16-inch cake base. So I'm gonna have 2 inches on each side because my cake is 12 inches. I also have 2 offset spatulas. I have a large, which is Betty Crocker, and then a small, which is Wilton. And then I also have this like cake, like Lazy Susan spinning gadget. It's Wilton. I got this at Michael's, and it's actually kind of wonky because my mom put it in the dishwasher. So I hope it's gonna be okay. I'm not sure. We'll see. Look at what is happening over here. Oh, that is so sweet. Oh my God. I'll let you guys watch that while I grab some stuff over here. That is so cute. Yeah. You cuties? Yeah? You want some cake? Oh my God, how cute is that? I have just laid out some wax paper. You can use parchment paper too. I just have so much wax paper. I just need to get rid of some of it. I've laid some around the perimeter just because I want to keep the perimeter super clean. So that's easy for me to remove after. All right, let's get the first cake on here. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do is apply a little bit, just with the spatula that's in here, a little bit of buttercream to hold the cake in place because I do have to travel over an hour with this guy. I have my first layer, and I remembered to remove the parchment paper from underneath. Now I'm gonna try and center it as best as I can. Ooh, that's not bad. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna be working with this big guy, I guess, for now. I really don't know. I'm gonna switch back and forth. I'm not a professional, so don't think I am, okay? All right, there is layer 1. Woohoo! Now the first layer I didn't use my little Lazy Susan, but I'm going to try and put this underneath here now. So here I have layer 2, and instead of putting it with the top up, I'm actually gonna flip it over, boop, and put it down this way. Oh, it has like a little hole in it. Should I do it this way then? Yeah, I still want to. Okay. All right, now time to throw some icing on here. All right, second layer is complete. Time for layer 3. I wanted to mention with this cake hack, these cakes are like super like firm, and watch, I'm just gonna like break it, firm and durable. Like it's honestly really amazing. So I'm gonna pop this one on now. Right side up there. Boom. Here we go. Time for a little frosting. I'm gonna use this little spatula, and I'm gonna use up whatever frosting I have on here already. So for the outside of this, what I'm going to do is like crumb coat it, so you're gonna be able to see some, just because I need the icing to cool off a bit so I can really build up on it. So I'm just kind of perfecting this, making sure that all of the sides have covers and there's no gaps. I'm gonna let this cool off a bit and then I'm gonna build up the icing. All right, I have let this cake chill and it's pretty cold, and now it is time to carve it. Woohoo! So what I'm first gonna do is down at the bottom, I'm gonna slice it at an angle because tires are somewhat round. Okay, so now I'm going to shave the sides as well, and just like a little bit, the slightest bit. So what we need to do now is make the indents where all the fondant pieces are going to lay, which is right here. So I need to make a whole bunch of different like cuts and whatnot. So I think I'm gonna just start off by marking where those need to be and then go from there. So I really had to scavenge around, scavenge, is that the word? My house to try and find pieces that would work for this. So I found this old Paul and Joe face mask tin, and I thought this would be perfect for the center bit. And I just wanna make sure it's even, and I can't find my ruler, so we're gonna measure it with this thing. So that's 4. Okay, so that's pretty centered there. And now I'm just gonna push down, I think, to mark it, and then we're gonna cut straight down. Wow, that's satisfying. That is satisfying. So over here, this guy, I need to set down into the cake. This guy is like 8 1/3 or so. And this is literally the exact same pretty well. So I'm gonna measure with this guy. So I'm gonna somehow try and center this. And I think I'm just gonna push a little bit and then pick up and see where it actually landed, just so I can see where that is. But I'm gonna take my knife and cut straight down there. I'm gonna cut and remove some of this cake from here now. And I'm not gonna go super deep. I'm only really gonna go about that deep because I don't want to lose a lot of the cake. Also, this cake is purple. It's like no longer gray, it's literally purple. Because I guess yellow and gray make purple. Now we have to make the shelf, which the inlay bit will lay on. So we need to make the little boop and then down again. So I don't have anything. Oh yes, I do, never mind. I lied, I have this, which I'm gonna measure with this guy. It's just like a Pyrex lid. I'm gonna try and get that in the center. That's what I'm gonna measure with. Haha, I knew I had something. Okay, I got that all the way around, I think. Yeah. So now what I have to do is I have to dig out this bit right here. So we're gonna have a lot of cake left over. Okay, so I haven't cut this bit super far down just because I really don't want to have like a super deep bit there, but I do need to cut this down a little bit because this needs to be lower than this edge where the rim is going to lay. So hopefully I can just, wow, this is hard. There we go. Okay, there we go. I think that that's good so far. I'm gonna let this chill a little bit, and then I'm going to put a little bit more icing on it, but it's too warm right now. Okay, so the cake has cooled enough that I can put some more frosting on it and essentially like kind of crumb coat it, if you will. I'm afraid that this frosting, I should have let it sit out. I'm afraid. I don't know. Uh-oh. Ah, the frosting needs to warm up. Ah. Okay, to be honest with you, this part is probably gonna be super boring because I'm gonna work super slow because it's already 9 p.m. and I need to get this thing done. So I'm just gonna slowly crumb coat this, I guess. Okay, there we go. It is crumb coated. Now I'm just gonna let it chill out for a little bit more and then we will move on from there. All right, so at this point, I'm literally just going to add frosting onto it. Okay, so I have frosted the cake for the most part as much as I could. And I saw this little trick online. So I did smooth out the edges and round them as much as I could, but I heard if you put a piece of paper towel on here, you could really get it smooth. And that's what I'm gonna do. Boy, do you see him in the camera here? Hey, you get away from the food, my boy. Hey, little guy. So cute. Hey. Where do you want to go? You're not going around the cake. All right, guys, it is fondant time. So today I'm going to be using the Wilton Fondant. I have white and then I also have black. These are the main two colors I'm going to be using. Black, obviously, for the outside, and then white for all of the little doodads. So I created this little plan, and I also made like a list of everything I needed over here. But this is kind of the idea behind the cake of what I'm doing, even though I ombre this, but I'm still gonna have, you know, that green teal icing just because the colors of the party are teal, la da da da. So I watched a YouTube video of this amazing baker who did a tire cake, and I took some inspiration from him. So to make this center wheel rim bit, what he actually did was printed out an image of his favorite rim. I don't have a printer, unfortunately, but what I did was I measured 12-inch cake pan, and then I also measured a 9-inch cake pan and worked from there, and then I drew this. So I kind of mapped out where I was gonna place things, where I wanted little holes, all that kind of stuff. So that's my little template, and I just did this with, I don't know, a pencil, and then this is parchment paper. So from there, what I did was I actually measured out my indents, and I cut that out, and I can't find that. I think I threw it out last night when I was cleaning up, but that's what I used to work on my stencil for my actual rim. So this is what I made last night, and it's pretty well all the way finished. I will link the video down below just so you guys can see what he created. So what I had originally done was I measured out my 8-inch cake pan, actually, so this is 8 inches, and then I placed the second layer on top, worked on all the screws, did little indents, put a little ball there, put a screwdriver in there, and just played around with different bits and bobs to create all the different indents. And it does have that kind of like 3D effect here. This is my first time like really working with fondant, so for my first time, I mean, it ain't bad. And then I also just put a little H because the baby's name is Hayes, and then a 1 because it's his first birthday. So this is made out of fondant. He used modeling chocolate, but I left this out last night and it's pretty solid. So I'm really impressed with how hard that's gotten. I don't intend for people to eat this because it's fondant, but yeah, so that is my rim. Now we're gonna work on a piece that actually goes in behind here, which is silver as well, then it has a little orange bit on it also. It's a good thing I'm artistic because I can kind of like visualize this kind of stuff. So the piece I'm gonna make, I'm just gonna draw this so you guys can see. So this grid is actually a little bit bigger than this one. This piece isn't supposed to be here, so it's actually just that big. But we're gonna make a little silver piece that goes behind here like that. And then there's also a little like orange piece that kind of comes just on one side, and it has like little triangles and like all these little doodads on it. So those are the two pieces we're gonna make right now. Can't you tell how artistic I am? So here I have just some of my leftover fondant that was in here. I still have a big glob in there. So we're gonna be working with this guy. Now I have a little bit of corn starch here. So here I'm just gonna knead it into a little ball, get that cornstarch on it. So I'm not fancy. I don't have a nice like PVC roller for my fondant. This is a rolling pin that my grandfather actually made. My grandma signed it on the bottom here as well. So this is what I'm gonna be using. And I'm actually gonna hold this upside down and then cut. So I'm just gonna score it really lightly right now, and then I'm gonna cut into it so the line is really clean. Then I'm just gonna rub this around it just to smooth out the sides. Okay, sweet, we have our little circle. Now we have to work on the orange part. Ah, look, Wilton Cakes messaged me. We'd love to see how it turns out. Please feel free to use Wilton Cakes when posting. Oh, that's so cute. Thanks, Wilton. So the piece I'm talking about is this right here. That's what he made. So if you can imagine, like, it's really simple, but it adds a lot to the cake. You can see right here, like it makes it look super real. So that's what we are trying to do. You know what I just realized? I need to dye this orange. So that's that piece, which just goes like here, I guess. His, I think, is almost a bit less fat. So maybe I'll thin this one down just a wee bit here. Like that. And then there was a whole bunch of just random indents on it, so I got a whole bunch of different stuff to kind of create that. I have this bottle opener, this Makeup Forever, and then this Estee Edit thing. I thought this would be cool to make some lines, but I'm just gonna start by just going like this. So those are our pieces. Now I'm gonna get some stuff together so I can start coloring these. Alrighty, so in this jar here, or cup actually, I have some vodka and then also some star powder, whatever it's called, the chrome color in there. So that's gonna be for this guy. And now this orange one, I don't have like any food coloring like this, or like, I don't really know what I'm doing. So I put like a drop of alcohol in here, and I think I'm just gonna like make an orange. Maybe that was too much red actually. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Like literally none. I don't know how to do this. This is too red. Yeah, it's a little, actually, that might not be bad. Yeah, that might not be bad. And I brought a bigger brush. I'm just using like makeup brushes. Obviously clean. I don't even think I've ever used this next one before actually. So I'm just gonna, I guess this technique works. I have no idea. Might have to sop some of this up with a paper towel. Wow, okay, that worked, sweet. Maybe just dry it a bit. Don't want it to be too wet. Well, that kind of worked. There's a lot of depth to it. I guess I should have colored the fondant, I suppose. But oh well, this works. Ooh, depth. And now this is so fun when you watch this happen. It's just like one of the funnest things to watch. Look at that. It's like painting. It's so fun. I was having a blast with that last night, which that one took me like 4 hours to do, I swear. Maybe not 4, but it took me a while. All right, I'll let that dry and maybe I'll do another layer just so you don't see the lines in it, but that's pretty much it. Look at it bake. Wow, I need to clean this. Is this what a year of no cleaning looks like? Look, bake my little baby. Bake. I'm doing like a gray ombre cake, so I've been dyeing the batter with this black Wilton dye, and I have my previous 2 shades here. So we have a light gray and then a medium gray, and now we got a dark gray. This is so fun. I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is I forgot to color the fondant before, so here we go. Painting this little guy orange. I forgot to color the fondant before, so I took a little bit of alcohol and mixed it with some orange food coloring, and this seems to be working. Not bad. And this little circle needs to be all chrome. Yes, this is so pretty. For those of you guys who have been asking, this is kind of my cake plan. This is what I'm gonna be making, so it's gonna be a tire cake. Now, I don't have a printer, so I couldn't print out a stencil for this guy, so I drew one, and that's how I made this guy. And I'm not gonna say that that was easy. I made this entire piece as well as these pieces, which will make sense in a minute, out of the Wilton Fondant. I don't know how to make fondant, so I got this at Michael's because if you download the app, you get 40% off, so boom. Oh, I love this. So after I had finished sketching this out and I used my 8-inch cake pan to kind of measure this and all that, I actually drew out a stencil, and that's how I cut all this and made it all somewhat even though it's not perfect, but it's perfect to me. I'll show you what I used to get the fondant to look like this and all of these circles and all this. So for these circles, I used the actual cap off of this sage bottle. For the big circle, I used the cap off of this cold cream. And then to make the lines on here, I'm using this Estee Edit USB, which was perfect for that. I've been using the Beauty Blender spatula to cut all of this as well, and then the Makeup Forever bottle opener that they gave me. So I'm being creative. All right, I got my buttercream all made up, and I'm going to make a teal color. So I got some blue and green. We're gonna see what happens to this. There's the color. Isn't that perfect for a little boy? For those of you guys who have been asking, this is kind of my cake plan. This is what I'm going to be making, so it's going to be a tire cake. Now, I don't have a printer, so I couldn't print out a stencil for this guy, so I drew one, and that's how I made this guy. And I'm not going to say that that was easy. I made this entire piece as well as these pieces, which will make sense in a minute, out of the Wilton Fondant. I don't know how to make fondant, so I got this at Michael's because if you download the app, you get 40% off, so boom. Oh, I love this. So after I had finished sketching this out and I used my 8-inch cake pan to kind of measure this and all that, I actually drew out a stencil, and that's how I cut all this and made it all somewhat even though it's not perfect, but it's perfect to me. I'll show you what I used to get the fondant to look like this and all of these circles and all this. So for these circles, I used the actual cap off of this sage bottle. For the big circle, I used the cap off of this cold cream. For all these little doodads, I used a screwdriver and an Allen key also. And then for these two, I used, this is a jar from Dollarama, so I used that lid, and then also a Bath & Body Works candle lid to stencil those guys out. And then to make the lines on here, I'm using this Estee Edit USB, which was perfect for that. I've been using the Beauty Blender spatula to cut all of this as well, and then the Makeup Forever bottle opener that they gave me. So I'm being creative. So these are my 3 beautiful layers. Oh, I cannot wait to assemble this. I leveled them out somewhat for the most part. This guy, which is the top layer, I left a little bit of a curve to it, which you'll understand because it's a tire, la-di-da-da-da. I'm also not cutting off any of the brown part because I don't. What I have here is a 16-inch cake base because my cakes are 12 inches, so I'll have 2 inches around on each side. I have some offset spatulas, and then this little Wilton like spinny thing, which is kind of crooked because my mom put it in the dishwasher and it's wonky now. All right, guys, I've carved the beast, and I'm going to chill it out for a little bit more before I put more icing on it. But I have the different levels to put the rim on. It's looking good. I'm actually impressed with how it's turning. This is where we're at right now. I've just put a piece of saran wrap on here, and I'm gonna let it chill out for a bit, just so it can harden up a wee bit. It's kind of looking like a tire though, I think. What I did actually was I took the black fondant, I used it all, and then I used about 1/3 of the white just because I had some left over and I needed a bit more than only 1.5 pounds. I have no idea how much I actually need, and if I need more, I can fold more, but it's still black, it's not gray. So let's do that. Here's the moment of truth, guys. Wish me luck. Hey guys, I somehow miraculously did that. It's not perfect. I won't even show you the little mistakes, but I'm gonna now assemble these bits on here. Our little baby is chilling in the fridge right now, and I'll let it chill and then I'll show you guys the final result. This looks so cool! Yes, I'm so happy. Alright, here it is, you guys. Here's the finished cake. I'm actually super happy with it and kind of proud of it, to be honest with you. It legit looks like a tire. Aw, I'm so excited. Happy birthday. Alright, here it is, you guys. Here's the finished cake. I'm actually super happy with it and kind of proud of it, to be honest with you. It legit looks like a tire. Aw, I'm so excited. Happy birthday. This is my first time covering a cake in fondant, and it was starting to rip a little bit. So what I had to do is pipe a little bit of fondant that I thinned out with water along the edge here, just to kind of conceal the rips.